All right, before we get into today's podcast, I just want to say thank you to Inebri-art Supplies for being our August sponsor. They sent us a box of magic that we're going to use to give away at our actual 5th anniversary life drawing at New World Tavern this month, as well as be the prize for the Daily Drawing Challenge. And so Inebri-art Supplies was founded by G.J. Gillespie, and he founded Inebri-art Supplies to meet the needs of artists like him seeking the ideal artist travel journal. The size and paper quality had to be right. After weeks devoted to researching stationery supplies, he found the best manufacturers to produce his dream sketchbook. And they sent us a bunch of them, and they're pretty sweet. And they also sent us some mechanical pencils. So if you're interested in seeing what Inebri-art Supplies has to offer, go to ledaartsupplies.com. That's LEDA artsupplies.com. And thanks again to our sponsor this month. All right, welcome back, Inebri-ites. This is Andy of the Inebri-art Podcast, and we are back in our home here at the Craft Beer Cellar recording some episodes. And we are here today with Eddie Bruckner, an artist from the Boston area. And I came across Eddie on Twitter, and I believe it was in his profile picture. You were there with your Play Me I'm Yours piano. Is that correct?
Right.
So for our listeners who don't know, the Play Me I'm Yours is a public art/music project where local artists paint a variety of pianos. They put them all over Boston, and they're there for the public just to, come up and play. And I had a couple friends do pianos, and so that's what caught my attention, and I reached out to you. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me to come speak about my artwork and my career as an artist.
So I'm assuming the business of painting pianos isn't a full-time gig. What do you do when you're not working on that project?
Well, that project really was terrific because it was the first public art project that I was involved with. So I got selected by the Celebrity Series of Boston, who was kind of sponsoring the Play Me I'm Yours exhibit. And it was really a really positive experience. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of almost like being on a reality TV show.
Oh, really?
Because we all painted the pianos in the same space mm-hmm. at the Boston Design Center. So it was kind of like, everybody's together and watching each other and kind of seeing everybody's progress along the way. It's really cool.
It's a good way to kind of network and meet new artists.
Right.
Do you know Mike Crockett or I-Formation? Those are the two people that I know who painted pianos. But I'm not sure because it's been a few years.
Well, there were 2 years that they did it. I think 2013 and 2016. Mm-hmm. So, maybe one of those years.
And if my memory serves me, which is kind of faulty most of the time, yours had a Fenway Park theme to it, correct?
It had a Boston theme, yeah. So it had the Citgo sign, it had the Zakin Bridge, the MBTA, mm-hmm. Kind of map. And, it all kind of featured my signature style of the illusion of mosaic tile and mm-hmm. bold lines and bright colors. And so that was really cool. And because it was Boston themed and, it was really a nice honor to have my painting, my painted piano selected to be the piano that they used for the kickoff celebration event.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
For the press conference with Mayor Marty Walsh. So,
nice.
Yeah, it was really great. It was a lot of fun, and there are tons of videos on my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and also on the streetpianos.com website. So if anybody wants to,
they can check it out.
They could check out the videos. Nice. Yeah.
I took part in a public art thing down here where sponsors paid for fiberglass lobsters and chose an artist. Now, were there sponsors for the piano? What was the whole process like?
The whole process was you kind of applied to participate, and they looked at your other artwork, and you got selected. And then they had a big meeting with all the artists. They brought everybody together, and you kind of pick a number out of a box, and you just kind of get your piano.
Oh, so you randomly get assigned a piano.
So I was excited that it was like a modern looking piano.
Yeah.
So it kind of went with my style. So it was a cool process.
Did you have to submit like sketches of what you were going to do and get like approval on it, or were they just like go crazy and do what you want?
They didn't really ask for sketches. They just kind of said do whatever you want. You just couldn't kind of.
There were some guidelines.
You couldn't obviously put anything that was trademarked or anything. But but it was great to see all the different creative things that people came up with, and then to see them out on the street, and all of a sudden somebody just kind of sits down and starts playing, this amazing song, and kids playing, piano, just kind of spontaneously. It's kind of a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's very cool. For the past 2 years, I'm sure you had somewhat similar experience. People would send me pictures of themselves with my lobster. Yeah. And so like I have a file at home that I just like collected pictures.
I'd love to see a photo of that.
Do you get people sending you pictures of them like at your piano and stuff?
I do. Actually, just the other day, somebody. The piano's no longer there.
Okay.
But I also did an electrical box commissioned by the city of Boston.
Oh, cool.
Which is located right near Fenway Park, right on the corner of Yawkey Way and Boylston Street.
Oh, that's prime.
Right by Tasty Burger.
That's prime real estate there.
Yeah, and it's that was a really great experience too. Painting it on site and people coming up to be like, "What are you doing?"
Did you get any hassles from like police being like, "Can't do that"? Like, no, I'm supposed to.
I didn't, but I was prepared because I had the official letter.
Yeah.
But people were confused why I was washing the box, an electrical box.
That probably got more weird looks than you painting it.
Right, exactly. So that was a great project, and that led to another electrical box that I did along the Boston Marathon route. Yeah, in Natick.
Oh, cool. Now, are you a full-time artist? Do you have a day gig? Like, what do you do when you're not painting pianos on electrical boxes?
I'm a full-time artist now.
Yeah.
And so I kind of divide my time between doing public art projects or looking for public art projects, and working in the studio, just in my artwork, and exhibiting in different venues, galleries, and competitions, juried shows.
Yeah.
And I also do private art instruction.
Oh, nice.
So I teach kids and adults.
Yep.
Kind of drawing, painting, acrylic painting, watercolor.
Nice. Pencil
drawing. Yeah.
So did you go to college for this, or is this you kind of self-taught?
I'm self-taught. Yeah.
It's. I feel like more and more artists are kind of self-taught. I don't know whether it's the dawn of like the digital age where you can watch videos at home and kind of get a feel for it and then give it a try, or
right. Yeah. I mean, I've always loved art. I've always kind of been creative, and I had a really terrific high school art teacher that really encouraged me, and he had a reputation for being really tough, but I kind of liked his constructive criticism and his approach to teaching. And
I feel like that's one of the I don't know if it comes naturally, but you're either open to constructive criticism or you have a really hard time with it. And right. I feel like if you can be open to it, you're going to grow faster.
Right. Well, he was my teacher, so I didn't really have a choice whether to be open to it or not.
Well, not every... I see a lot more people... Well, not a lot more, but I see people kind of will argue why they did stuff opposed to kind of like hear what the other person has to say. So back in your high school, like what kind of like got you interested in art? Like, was there an artist, or were you into comics? Like, what kind of got you into the art world?
It's hard to say. I really just, liked painting and liked drawing, and, I was never really good at drawing people, but landscapes and more traditional realistic things I was great at, and that really just evolved. Now I don't do those types of things in my artwork. If you go to my website, you'll see, I do more kind of pop contemporary, with more like abstract style. In my I would skip lunch to kind of be in the art room and do that. And then,
So you said you do kind of like a faux mosaic style? Like, why not do mosaics?
Well, I'm a painter first and foremost. So, this kind of, what happened was I saw a mosaic wall and I really liked the way it looked, and I did one painting, and I just kind of really liked how it looked, and I liked the process of creating that. So it doesn't look exactly like mosaic, but it kind of helps me create create strong compositions, and helps create a lot of variety and repetition and center of interest, and kind of helps the mosaic element, kind of reminds me of confetti and kind of making it kind of fun, fun and exciting. So that kind of helps me further convey my goal of fun and happiness in my artwork.
And you said that you teach private classes and whatnot. Have you been doing it long enough where you've seen students move on to, say, art school and become professional?
I haven't been doing it that long to see kind of the progression. Yeah. But I definitely see growth from one year to the next in individual students, and everybody's different. Everybody kind of starts at a different place. And,
sure. Yeah.
But my goal is for people to kind of just enjoy what they're doing and kind of focus on the techniques, and then develop their own original style.
And where you do these, like, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the public art or kind of more traditional art show? Like, do you have one over the other that you prefer?
I really like the public art. I'm working on just starting a very cool public art project. It reminds me of what you were saying about the lobsters with the fiberglass, similar to like the cow parade.
Yeah. I think it's the same company that manufactures them. They just kind of manufacture for different areas.
So I'm actually working with an organization called Music Drives Us.
Okay. And
it's a nonprofit that supports arts education. And they are putting out like a dozen or so electric and acoustic guitars sculptures, fiberglass sculptures. And so I'm going to paint one of them. Yeah. And, in the process of painting it now. And it's going to be throughout Norwood, Massachusetts.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, and then they're going to be auctioned off in November at an event, and the money's going to go towards, it's all, Music Drive Us is part of the car dealer Ernie Bach Jr. Foundation.
Yeah, he just did, his organization just did Art Week a couple months ago, and we ran a few events down here. Yeah. But let me ask you a question, because this seems to come up a lot with the lobsters, and sometimes I feel like I'm in a school by myself, but the whole time I'm painting this lobster, I went through the thought process of, this is going to be in a public place. It's definitely going to get damaged. It could possibly get stolen. So I think that whole time thinking that, like, I'm not that attached to it. It's been damaged. It's had it shows a lot of wear, and I'm okay with that. Other people get super stressed out. One of them got legitimately stolen. Two of them got legitimately stolen. But I kind of always had that in my head, like, that's a possibility. Are you the person who really stresses about the vandalism, or are you just like, it's going to happen?
I really hope that it doesn't.
Yeah.
And, I stress a little bit about it, because obviously you don't want to see your hard work, be damaged. But you it's kind of part of the whole process,
right? And that was kind of like my
part
thing.
of the deal.
Yeah, that
if it's out in the public, then it's exposed to the elements, and anything really could happen.
Right.
Somebody could fall into a gallery, into what painting in the gallery, and damage a painting. It's
to me, it's almost part of the artwork to kind of see how it progresses over time, and like a lot of them, because it's coming up on 2 years, so a lot of them have pieces that are broken off. The fiberglass is still okay, but of course everyone tries to attach stuff to it,
right?
And some of those pieces have disappeared or gotten damaged, but it's tough when you put it out in the public because you kind of give up some of that control. Like there's no security guard there. It's out there, and you got to kind of see what happens.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be out in September to early November.
Yeah.
And
that's a short run, I feel like.
Yeah. I think the goal. It'll raise awareness for arts education, music education, and they'll have this event, which I think will be really nice, and people will hopefully, they'll go up for auction. So
right now, how do you find more of these type of things? So, like, do people seek you out? Do you kind of track them down online?
A little bit of both. Sometimes people send me things that you should look into this, and I've been kind of approaching some community organizations, community-based public art organizations in my hometown, in the Revitalization Trust Fund in my hometown of Needham.
Yeah.
And they have a active electrical box, signal box program.
That seems to be a thing. They just did one down on Main Street here, but they it looks like they wrapped them in a vinyl.
Right, right. Yeah. So sometimes people paint them. Sometimes, you do a painting or an artwork digitally, and then it's transferred onto a vinyl wrap that they wrap, and that seems to last for several years, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about future public art projects. I love to do, a big mural project or more electrical boxes.
Like one of those side of the buildings that you see coming down the highway kind of thing?
Yeah. Or even, like, transform my, like, style of painting into something sculptural. So I have a few ideas on how to do that, but I'm looking for communities in the Boston area to partner on for that.
More like a three-dimensional... I'm not sure how you would do that. Like, clearly you have an idea.
I have an idea. Yeah. I have an idea. I just have to find, the community to kind of partner on it with. So
when you're doing your paintings for like a gallery show or whatnot, do you go with the same kind of like local motifs, or do you paint kind of different subject matter? Because when you do the public art, it's usually you try to tie it into the town, and because it's part of where it is. So when you don't have that restriction, like, do you paint kind of Boston-y type stuff? Like, what do you like to paint?
I paint a variety of different things. Some of my paintings, are just simple abstractions, colors, lines, the mosaic. Others kind of capture a sense of space.
Yep.
And so I have a couple paintings of the Citgo sign, Las Vegas sign, Beverly Hills sign, things like that. But I also do some, I have some portraits that I did Madonna and Bono and, nice. All kind of different. So there are a lot of artists who just do landscapes or just paint florals or, or just do animal art. But for me, it's more about my style.
Yeah.
That kind of unites and unifies my body of work.
Oh, nice. So you kind of said you'd like to do some bigger projects in a 3D type thing. Is there, like, do you have that location in mind? Like, you drive by and you're like, someday that's going to be mine. or is it just like a general idea?
I mean, it's a general idea right now. If it's in downtown Boston, that'd be great.
Yeah.
On the Greenway would be terrific. I'd love to do.
They have some art installations there.
They do. Yeah, they do have some really, really good artwork there.
So who would your artistic influences be?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I love going to museums and looking at artists like Van Gogh and Mondrian and Andy Warhol, and the list goes on and on. But just kind of getting inspiration from them, kind of what they did, and a lot of my inspiration comes from different materials that I would use. But I love going to galleries too and kind of seeing what's out there and kind of coming up with my own ideas.
Yeah. Kind of. Like, do you find maybe little-known artists give you more ideas because their technique isn't really as popular, or, you kind of, I don't want to say steal ideas, but we all borrow.
Yeah, I try not to, look at artists for, like, what they're doing and try and, like, actively copy it. I don't do that.
Right.
But obviously, when you're looking at things and you're living your life, that, ideas come into your head and
be like, oh, this motif would be good with that style. Like, it's kind of inevitable that.
Yeah, I mean, I was on vacation and I saw a painting or something in one gallery, and I said, it reminded me of one of my paintings, and I said, oh, well, what if I flip the colors, or flip the way I painted it? So that's just an idea that's kind of floating around in my head that I'll probably get to.
I feel like, there's that sitcom cliche of, the two women showing up at a party wearing the same dress. And, like, I feel like artists have that. You do something and you go to hang, or you go somewhere and you're like, God damn it, that's like the same thing that I just did. Or, like, the same thing that I had in mind. Like, have you had that kind of experience?
No, not really.
No? All right. Happened to me.
It might happen to me,
Right. So, are you working on any projects right now, other than the Ernie Bach guitar thing? Like, do you have any other things in the going?
Yeah. So we got the guitar. I'm doing a lot of teaching and actually doing some classes at some assisted livings and senior housing centers.
Nice.
Kind of doing more group classes for that. And, so those are fun too. And people commission artwork from me just to, they want something special, or they see a painting of mine that they like, but they want it to be bigger or smaller or kind of fit over their sofa.
Right.
So, so I work with them to kind of figure out their interior design needs and kind of create something new for them.
Nice.
So that's always kind of ongoing.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. And I'm in the studio just painting and working on my own paintings.
Yeah.
That I like to exhibit at shows.
And how do you use the internet? Are you a fan of it? Do you use it to promote your art? Are you a live streaming kind of artist? Like, do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a really, I think, a great website, and eddiebruckner.com, so check it out.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And
feel free to drop any websites or
Yeah, and I have a blog that I on my website as well that I write about. Whenever I travel, go to an art museum, I write about it, take photos, and kind of talk about it. And sometimes it relates to me, and sometimes it doesn't. And so I have a great article about Barcelona art. And
did you go to Barcelona?
I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of art there.
Yeah.
A lot of art there. Yeah, and New York City, of course, and Boston. So a lot of the museums and so I touch upon. So if you want to kind of learn a little bit about art or just see some great photos of art, my blog is pretty good. And in terms of social media, I'm pretty active. I have a Facebook page, Eddie Bruckner Fine Art, and Twitter, which is how we met.
Yeah.
We met. That's Eddie Bruckner FA. And Instagram is great. I love Instagram because it's so visual.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Eddie Bruckner Fine Art, all one word. And I don't post a lot. They say you should post something every day, or but I don't do it. I just kind of
whenever the mood strikes you.
Yeah, I don't want to inundate people. I just want to put out there what's important.
And do you get business from your post? Do you ever get people wanting to purchase a painting that you posted? And I mean, everyone gets those, I want it. And you're like, well, it's this amount. I don't want it. Like, did you get like legitimate business?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it's not every day.
Right.
But sometimes I do. A lot of people kind of like, they like hearing that I'm going to be at. I do a lot of some open studios, where I sell my artwork, and I also sell like greeting cards and products like
swag
stuff with the images of
and
I have like limited edition prints and stuff.
Nice.
So people will kind of like to know where I'm going to be, and then they come.
So do you do kind of like the art shows and stuff like that?
Some of that, and not too many, maybe like 3 or 4 a year.
Yeah, we were just down at Wickford, Rhode Island Art Festival.
Yeah,
that was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it helped that it was a gorgeous weekend, but they had 210 juried artists, and we spoke with the organizer, and the way that Rhode Island works, if you don't have a Rhode Island tax ID, you have to get a temporary one through the promoter. And it didn't occur to me at the time, but like as she was telling us, she's like really liked it because they could track how business was.
Oh.
So they knew they moved, I think it was over 2,000 pieces at $300,000 worth of art in a weekend.
Wow.
Which is some serious money. I think this has been going, like, next year will be the 57th year. So you don't see those often. Like, I feel like the ones I generally see are much smaller.
Right. Yeah, and the ones that I'm involved in are much smaller. It's mostly like, to be a good community member. So I do like, Needham, I live in Needham, so I do Needham Open Studios, and I've done, I'm going to be doing Arlington Open Studios in
you got to support the
next
town
few
you're
months.
in.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you get
Newton Open Studios?
What's that?
Newton Open Studios,
okay.
Neighbor. Right.
Do you get a lot of cooperation's the right term, but like, does the town approach you to take part in things like that?
Does the town approach me? Not really.
No, so they just have the events, and so you take part.
They have it. You take part. I mean, everybody knows what's going on, and
well, I suppose the question I should have asked is the art scene in Newton really strong?
In Newton, it's really strong. Needham, actually, now that I think about it, Needham has this Winter Arts Festival. They've done it a couple of years, and I participated. It's around the holidays, and it's been really good. And I've sold a lot of paintings and prints and stuff there, so that's good. So they do, and I think it's all supported by the Massachusetts Cultural Council.
Yep.
And the money kind of gets, goes to different projects.
Yeah.
In the communities.
Yeah, we're seeing that down here now. The Plymouth Bay Cultural District is really ramping up, and everything down here is gearing up towards the 400th anniversary of the Plymouth landing. So I'm not sure what's going to happen after that, but right now everything's on a big, huge uptick.
Yeah.
Now, you've been doing this for a while, and generally speaking, the economy's been on an upturn. Does it concern you? Like, essentially, I don't want to be like art is a luxury, but it's a luxury item. It's not a necessity. Do you kind of like worry about those days? Like, do you make some sort of plan for like the days when it's going to be lean, or?
No, I haven't planned. I'm a planner, but I haven't planned
you
for that.
Planned for that?
I haven't planned for that. And, I'm just really trying to work really hard and do a lot of different things and try and be everywhere, with public art, with teaching kids, teaching adults, teaching seniors.
Is there one?
And
I don't want to say what group do you prefer, but is there one age group that is more challenging than others? Like, are there seniors with disabilities or dementia or something like that you have to really struggle with? Or
yeah, I mean, some of the seniors I work with, their eyesight is the ones that assisted living. Their eyesight isn't great, and their hands, shake, and
sure,
but they love it. They love doing it, and I help them and try and encourage them to do what they can on their own. But they feel good about it, and I take pride in knowing that they're having fun and enjoying the process of creating art, which is great.
And at that stage, it's important to stay active. So it's really good that they're doing something and they're staying social, and it's really easy to kind of just be the crazy cat lady locked inside with her 40 cats. Right.
The other thing that I'm also, I mentioned I was doing a ton of different things. Another interesting piece is that my paintings are going to be in 2 upcoming movies.
Oh, really?
Which is cool.
Oh, that's super cool.
So right now both
way to bury the lead. That would have been like the first thing.
Well, I guess they'll have to listen to the whole thing to get to this point. Both movies are right now in the casting stages, but
Is one the Marky Mark movie that's coming up?
No.
Because I know they have like an open casting call for mob guys.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I am not a mob guy, so I'm not going to be in that movie.
Neither am I.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but what movies are they going to be?
One is called Dan and Carla, and it's a romantic comedy, and it's a really, really great script written by Eric Weinstock. And another one also by Eric is called Avery's Sin, and it's more of a thriller type of film.
Now, how did you get involved in that? Did you know this?
I know the writer.
Gentleman?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm an executive producer, and also my paintings will be part of the, in the background somewhere in some of the scenes.
What does an executive producer do other than paint the painting?
Invest in the film.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. But it's great to kind of just do something, also on the creative spectrum, and kind of see that kind of come to life. And I've already seen some of the other films that Eric and some of the same producers and directors have been involved with, and they're really great. And so I'm really excited about the project and having my artwork kind of in the film.
Now, are these more independent movies? Or are they movies that we might have heard of?
You never know, and I'm not really kind of intimately involved with the making of the film.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be really successful.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I mean, this day and age, just like you never can tell. It's like it may never hit the theaters, but it could get picked up by Netflix and be huge. It's such a strange time for like media like that.
Yeah.
Because I know there's been plenty of quote-unquote Netflix originals that aren't really originals, but Netflix bought the rights to.
Exactly.
So then they become Netflix originals.
Yeah. So I'll come back in a year from now and...
Yeah. Well, you got to bring the director and writer, and we'll talk about your Academy Award. No. Yeah. Oscar? Is that the Academy Awards?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I got that right.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing. That's one of those where it's like really cool, but you don't foresee getting like work because of that, or is it just like a feather in your cap? Or
I don't know. I think it'll be cool to say, "Oh, my paintings were."
That'd be super cool
in 2 movies. So yeah, I'm psyched for it to happen. I mean, it's been in the works for a number of years, so I'm excited that we're kind of almost.
Are you going to make like phone calls when you see the first cut and be like, "I'm an executive producer. Damn it, I want 45 seconds on my painting."
No, I can't do that.
You can. No, but it is cool. And like you were saying with the video with the mayor, Marty Walsh, and like I was, what were we watching? Chronicle did a piece about Plymouth.
Right.
And they brought up the lobsters. And I didn't even know. I was at a viewing party because they'd featured a friend of mine's distillery. So we were at the distillery at a viewing party, and they were talking about the lobster crawl. Standing next to my lobster, I'm like, "Holy shit, that's mine!"
That's
and
great.
It's a cool rush, and it's like I know it doesn't really mean anything, but it's just neat, you know, to see something you worked on,
right?
You know.
Yeah, I wish my piano was stayed out for longer, but ended up being destroyed, which I knew would probably happen.
Yeah,
but it lives on in YouTube videos and on streetpianos.com.
Now are those pianos still out, or are they going to do new ones?
There were 60 pianos as part of this one project, and it was Luke Jerem is the kind of the artist behind this, and it's every year it's in different cities. It's in Hong Kong and Paris and London and L.A. and so. 60 pianos were created, and I think only about 20 survived. So
wow, that's some. But those are some odds.
I have the bench.
Yeah. Oh, do you?
Yeah,
that's cool.
So
I figured those would disappear like almost immediately. Were they chained to the?
They were. Yeah, they were chained. Yeah, they were chained.
Now, what happened like weather-wise? Like Boston's not known for being good weather.
Right. Yeah. It rained, and you never know because they're out 24 hours a day.
Yep.
And people walk by in the middle of the night, pull off the tarp, play it, and then don't pull it back on. And then if it rains, so something happened.
And it's Boston, so they're drunk.
It was right. I had a great location. It was right in City Hall Plaza.
Oh, nice.
Which is right overlooking Faneuil Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great.
So even though it got destroyed, if they asked you tomorrow to paint another piano, you'd be down for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, not to keep going back to the pianos, but I know when we did the lobsters, we got like a stipend, which wasn't a lot. Basically, they paid us for supplies and paid us a little bit for our time, and it basically all went into the lobster. Did you find that similar for the piano? Like where, like I didn't do the lobster for anything other than I thought it'd be fun.
Right.
Yeah.
The stipends are not huge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the specifics of which project, but I think it just kind of covers the materials.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. It was kind of a wash.
Yeah, but it was a great experience for me as an artist, and it really gives you credibility. It gives you experience, and my stuff lives on the videos, and you can talk about it to people like you,
and you get
people love it. These projects.
It's so weird where it ends up. A friend of mine sent me a picture. My lobster was on the cover of a service dog trainers magazine, which is super specific, but someone happened to be training their service dog. Take a picture in front of the lobster.
Cool.
And sent it in, and it showed up on the cover, so they sent it to me. So it's like you just never know, like what's going to happen, and I mean they're always in, they're there for the public, and so they're there for the public. So it's like you never. They're obviously in places where people are going to see them, so you never know who's going to be filming, who's going to be taking pictures. I mean, I drive by it all the time and just see like families or couples or whatever getting their picture taken with it. It's just a really cool feeling.
Yeah, it's great, and it's great to see it just pop up on Instagram. Like they, you can with a hashtag of lobster. And, or Plymouth hashtag.
No, it never even occurred to me to like search Instagram for the
hashtag Plymouth.
Yeah, I bet you
Plymouth lobster
crawl or something.
Yeah, you probably find photos.
That'll be interesting. I'll have to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, so
not while I'm at work. So, are there any other topics that you're one of the few guests who've brought notes with them? So, like, what didn't we cover?
You weren't supposed to tell people I brought notes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
There's no notes here.
That's all right.
There's no notes.
That's all
You're
right.
way well prepared, so that's.
Yeah, well, this is my career. This is really important to me, and I've worked hard to kind of focus on. I don't know if you can focus on all these different areas, but I try to.
Yeah.
And so I take it seriously, and hopefully it'll pay off. And I'm.
But hopefully you're still having fun. To me, that's the most important thing is to take it seriously, but to enjoy what you're doing.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
It's great, and I really love seeing the first time a collector sees my artwork in their home for the first time. It really is exciting. It kind of it reminds me of how transformative an impact a painting can have on the overall look of a room and the pleasure that it gives people. So I'm excited about that.
I think any time that your work is hanging in someone's house is so surreal. To think that someone else is looking at your work basically every day and taking it and enjoying it is a very cool thing.
Right.
So you brought up collectors, and one thing that I think a lot of artists struggle with is self-promotion. So how do you find those people to buy your art? Right.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, some people find me through the website, and or they know somebody else who has a painting and they want one. But right now, I'm currently exploring opportunities for gallery representation. So hopefully that'll help me get more exposure. So if there are gallery owners out there listening, check out my website.
Wow, I'd be
Eddie-Bruckner.com.
Please let me know if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Right? No,
you never know where something will lead. And
I mean,
listening.
We get downloaded in really obscure. Just the other day, we got downloaded in Turkey. Cool. So you never know, and that's kind of that self promotion. Is I feel like a lot of people would never make that statement to be like, "Oh, I'm looking for representation." It's not
I think you have to nowadays.
Yeah, it's not an ego thing. It's just
don't happen unless you make them happen.
Right.
I think. So there's so many different types of galleries out there. My artwork's not going to be a great fit for every single one of them.
Right.
But I am pretty confident that it would be a great fit for some of those.
Right.
So, if they look at my website and they like what they see, and, it might be a good fit for their gallery.
And there's lots of other places that hang art. I know the local library down here hangs art, so people could check out local libraries. We hang art at local businesses.
Right.
So, I mean, for artists starting out, or that's one of those, you almost have to look to see where the empty walls are, and then don't be afraid to be like, hey,
right,
what's going on there?
Right.
What words of wisdom do you give your young students as they start in the world of art?
Well, I encourage them to have fun and to enjoy creating the artwork. I encourage them to take it seriously and focus on learning all the techniques and pay attention to how they're which brush are they picking up? Is it the right brush for what they want to accomplish? And did they mix the right color? And are they holding the brush exactly the right way to do whatever they want to do? And really to pay attention to those details, because I think that that'll help them become better artists.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that it's important to kind of network with other artists and work kind of side by side, and even a casual setting to kind of see what they're doing? We've seen. We host drawing events, and one artist will be working with a particular kind of brush pen or something, and people are like, "Ooh, what's that? What are you doing?" And
right,
kind of sharing ideas that way.
Yeah. Well, I meet a lot of people at some of the open studio events, and you kind of see what they've done. You ask them, "Oh, how did you make that?" or "What'd you do?" I'm also a member of the Wellesley Society of Artists.
What's that?
It's a local Wellesley, Massachusetts, kind of artists nonprofit.
Okay.
And they have exhibits throughout the year, and they have people come in and do demonstrations where you can learn, what they did in their process. And you have to get accepted into the society.
Yeah.
So I'm a newer member, and so I'm excited. So I meet people through there and exhibit my shows, my paintings at some of their shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a new podcast, and her tagline is one of my favorite things that I've heard recently is ask smart people stupid questions. And I feel like artists don't do that enough. Ask people how they do it. Don't be shy. Art is one of those things that you're not supposed to compare your art to other people, but you always do. So I feel like if you are looking at someone's art and you're like, oh, I'm not as good as that person, I feel like there's a tentativeness that you don't want to kind of like ask them a stupid question, but sometimes I think that's kind of important just to be like, well, how did you do that, or
Right.
What can I do to improve? Do you have one person that like you kind of go to be like critique my work, or what can I do better?
My wife. Yeah, she's great, and she helps me a lot with kind of getting a gut reaction. Is this a good painting or a bad painting, and
right.
Advice.
Because that's important. Right? I mean, we're always our hardest critics, and sometimes you stare at it for 15 hours and you can't tell anymore.
Right.
Personally, one thing that I do is I take a picture of it, and then I look at the picture. I don't know why it seems different in my head.
No, that's a great thing. Yeah, I do that too.
Do you have other types of things to kind of evaluate your work on your own when your wife's not there to tell you what to do?
Well, I always let it sit for a little bit before, saying it's finished.
Yeah.
I look at it from afar and kind of take a break, just to make sure that it's exactly right. But people like getting likes on Instagram.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So, it'd be interesting. I haven't done it, but it'd be interesting to see which paintings of mine have gotten the most likes, or and if it kind of correlates to how good of a painting it is.
Right.
Whoever can judge that, I don't know.
Do you damn it, I just had a question. I completely blanked on it. Are you the kind of person to work on one painting, or do you have a few going at the same time to kind of like, if you get jammed up on one, you kind of switch to another one?
I definitely have a few going at the same time.
Yeah.
And definitely there's always even more kind of stuck in my head that I haven't yet sketched out yet, or started. So, but I definitely do more than one at a time, and sometimes I do paintings in series. In addition to working with acrylic paint, I also use ground glass in my artwork.
Okay.
In some of my artwork.
So does that get mixed in with the paint?
Gets mixed in or on top of the paint, and then also some of my paintings I use resin as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives it a different look. But for those, I did a whole series. I did like 10 of those paintings at the same time. So some of them, say happy, and some say LOL, and sparkle. So they're kind of cool. They're kind of cool. People like those. And I did them all at the same time.
Yeah.
So
do you find that your paintings reflect your moods? Or do you kind of do paintings to kind of clear your head and escape?
No, I definitely don't escape. I kind of, I have an Apple Watch, and it reminds me of when my heart rate goes over 120 beats per minute, I think. And oftentimes when I paint, and I'm sitting, it goes off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I get so worked up into it.
Huh.
So I don't find it like a relaxing, therapeutic experience like some people do. I kind of...
Do you ever then be
get
like...
very stressed by it.
Do you like have to step away then?
Sometimes, I mean,
Yeah.
but and I'm fine. I didn't have a heart attack or anything.
Well, that's good.
But no, it's just that I'm, sitting, focused painting, and
right.
But I guess
because I feel like when I work, I'm the other way. Like it'll completely clear my head, and almost kind of like a Zen thing. Like
that would be nice.
Yeah,
that would be nice. No, I kind of think of it as work.
Yeah,
that I have to kind of get the painting done.
So it's kind of
because it's done in my head. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
So, I do sketch out a few things here and there, but in my mind, I know exactly how I want it to look when it's done.
So it's more like get it out, get it out, get it out.
Yeah. Exactly.
So what do you do to relax? Like most people paint to relax, but I should say most people.
I watch movies.
Yeah.
Hang out with friends, my kids, and my wife.
Nice. Are your kids into art?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Nice. My daughter is headed into a design program in high school.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, so she's very much into art. My son's more into music and forensics, apparently. I don't know where that comes from.
That's cool.
But, so I think we're coming close to time here. Why don't we go over where people can find you online again?
Sure. It's eddiebruckner.com. It's EDDIEBRUCKNER.com. And I'm on Instagram, Eddie Bruckner Fine Art, Facebook. I encourage everybody to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. YouTube, if you want to see pictures of or videos. I made some really great videos of the making of some of the public art projects. Mm-hmm. So if people are interested in that thing specifically, I would recommend that they go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Nice. Now, if they wanted greeting cards and whatnot, is there like an Etsy store, or can they get that through your website? I don't really sell some of the merchandise on my website. It's really mostly just my paintings. Yeah. But there's a email and contact they can reach out to me, and I'm happy to talk to them about greeting cards and posters and mugs and T-shirts and bags and hats. And I haven't expanded to T-shirts and bags, but yeah, that's cool. But people love it, and it kind of gets, if they can't afford a painting, but they like my artwork, it's they like to have a mug or a puzzle or coasters that have my artwork, and then usually, they stay in touch with me, and they end up buying a print or a painting. Yeah, and everyone's got limited funds, right? And I actually had a friend of mine take a drawing I did. She bought it from me and then had it turned into a iPhone case. Cool. Yeah. So I mean, it's the way things are today, you can pretty much get whatever you want on whatever you want, right? But I'd love to see your artwork too, at some point. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I had someone ask me the other day, and I realized there is not a single picture of my artwork on my phone because we've been so busy like running events and the podcast that I feel like I don't have any time to work now. Right. So my time to draw is usually at our figure drawing events. I get to draw then, but so I get to get working and get some like finished work. But thanks for joining us. I'm glad I stumbled across you on Twitter. Yeah. And people say Twitter's no good, but, we found a good guest. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been really great. Thanks for inviting me, and thanks for everybody listening. And thanks for those who downloaded us in Turkey and Japan and everywhere else. So, awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks. All right. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to check out our other podcast. There's the Bar Talk podcast. There's Old Colony Cast. And, of course, the Inebri-art podcast along with Jam Packed. You can find all those on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. If you're on some sort of service and you can't find it, let us know, and we'll help you out and or add our podcast with that, too. You can contact us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com and follow us on Facebook as well as Twitter at Inebri-art. And feel free to send us some tips, ideas, advice, hate mail, whatever it is, you can get us there. And again, thanks for listening.